What's your last name?
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. Are you half
Oh,
Mexican?
you are a minority.
I'm a minority. My dad's Cuban.
Can I say something really stupid?
What?
You got any cigars? I said it was stupid.
Jesus Christ. Welcome to Good Thing, Bad Thing. I am JABYKOAY, your host. My co-host, SYNTELL.
It's your boy!
And we are joined by Chelsea Gonzalez.
Hello, that is me.
She rescues refugees. That's her job.
I'm trained in fighting.
You know, that's a really cool name.
Chelsea
It is.
Gonzalez.
Kind of gangster.
When you say your name, do you add like a
Sometimes I
head
usually
shake to it?
I usually try and be like,
Gonzalez.
"Hi, I'm Chelsea Gonzalez." My dad is Cuban and my mom is from England, so I am
Hot, basically.
That's pretty good.
Speaking of refugees, I've been playing Metal Gear Solid 5 like crazy lately. You know nothing about video games, I know. It's
Metal
cool.
Gear.
I just wanted to say something real quick. That game is phenomenal. It takes about 2 hours to get into, almost like, what's that show about drugs in like Detroit or something? It's
Drugs in Detroit?
Maybe it's not
Detroit.
Detroit. Maybe it's some, it's like some
Everything.
messed
Does
up
something
city.
bad happen? Then it's probably Detroit.
It's a show, it's a TV show. The Wire or something?
No, that's Baltimore.
I don't know. I don't watch TV, but The Wire is...
How do you not watch The Wire? The Wire is like considered one of the greatest series of all time.
I actually have heard that, although I have not seen it.
What?
It's been on my list. It's been on my list for
What
7
world
years.
am I in where it's 3 people in the room and 2 of you have not
All
seen
this
The Wire?
to say, Metal Gear Solid 5 is the same thing. You got to give it time to get into it, but once you're into it, it's amazing.
Okay,
But
see,
this is a game.
Right,
a video
this is a game. And see, and that's my problem because I heard from another friend, Chuck, he said he played for like an hour and a half and had maybe of actual play time 10 minutes. It's a video game. If I want to watch a movie,
I don't
then
know
I'll
what
go rent a
he
movie.
must be playing like
Oh.
some street pirated version of that game because that's not what my experience was whatsoever.
Well, I'm just telling you what he told me. And if he's wrong, let him have it in the comments.
It's a good game, man. You should check it out. All right, let's get into it. So, my good thing is hardcore. Now, you guys don't know what hardcore is, correct?
No.
It started out as a Kickstarter of some kind. It got funding because a lot of people got behind it. I'm surprised
Oh,
you
I
haven't
love
heard
that.
about this.
I love that.
So
So it's indie?
So did they drop like a 2-minute trailer
they
beforehand?
did. I'm going to show you the movie trailer, and I just...
So they did the trailer before
You
they
guys-
made the movie?
You just watch Syntell's reaction. He's going to lose his fucking mind.
Let me see.
Well, maybe I'm going to lose my mind.
It's a first-person movie.
The whole thing is in first person.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Visit in
Oh.
this case 20, 30 minutes tops.
Oh, yes.
I don't think he's alive.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. All right, y'all got me.
that's pretty
got me.
hardcore.
You got me.
Tell me that shit isn't dope.
It is dope.
That is
That's
crazy sick, man.
I've never seen a full feature first person, so that definitely got me intrigued. I'm all in. You got
How
me.
did they film that? Because would there have to be, I mean, is that like a GoPro situation?
It is definitely a GoPro situation.
You know,
Constantly adjusting Syntell's mic.
he's one of those people that'll walk into your house and see like a picture slightly tilted off to the right.
Let me fix this.
But you keep moving it away, and then
Because
you're
it's mine.
Okay, move it this way a little bit.
Touch another man's mic.
The movie looks good, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it's going to be as violent as The Raid. That concerns me just a smidge because I'm like,
It's too violent.
yeah, I don't like it when there's a lot of violence and there's no story at all to be coupled with it. I'm hoping there's some kind of story in there, but even despite myself and my reservations about movies that are just masochistically violent without any story, I think that's a great feat in itself that they're able to pull off a feature film completely in first person.
Yeah.
That's just amazing
But
to
see,
me.
my thing is that how long is that going to go on before it gets old hat?
And that's, yeah.
Because
that's the question.
that's cool for a trailer, and that's awesome for like a 10, 15-minute fan film, but can you do an hour and a half of that?
I'm pretty sure you can. I'm pretty sure most millennials can because they play all these first-person shooters. Like all the games that come out now are first-person shooter. Or well, they were for a long time. Like between Call of Duty, Fallout, and one game after another. And so people spend 60+ hours playing these first-person games. This is just the evolution, and this is the next step.
Right, but that's why it's not as good because you're taking away the fun of actually shooting the thing.
Yeah, there's a difference between you're interacting and you're pushing the story
Right.
and making the action in a first-person view and sitting there watching an entire movie like that. I know you're not the world's greatest first-person shooter fan, but can you sit there and watch, even if there was the best first-person shooter player in the world, can you sit there and watch him play for like an hour and a half and not be like, oh.
To me, there's a discernible difference between like a cut scene that's 90 minutes long, a CGI made cutscene that's all from first person, and something that looks legitimately real. Something where you are being voyeuristic in a way, where you're stepping into the shoes of someone else.
90 minutes of that, man. That's a long time.
That's why I'm
man,
saying
for
there's
that
got to
one
be
trick.
there's got to be some kind of story in there in order to keep you engaged.
Well-
because if there's no emotional context to hang everything on, it's gonna get boring like fast.
What do you think? Do you think it's going to have a good story?
No, I think it's gonna be a shit story.
Okay, so you think it's gonna suck, then
I
it's
think
gonna suck.
I think it's gonna be like Crank.
But to go back to hardcore, I don't know, man. I don't think I can last 90 with that, man.
I think you'll be fine.
I think you'd get dizzy too.
Just a and then you're
Yeah,
fine.
and that's another thing. That kind of movie, I think another reason why first-person views don't work well in theater is because of people will get sick in the theater.
That's what I was saying.
Right,
it's gonna
exactly.
be like Cloverfield.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it just because it's something that hasn't been done yet. And
Which
we'll-
I respect.
Yeah.
It's totally not my jam, especially like first person is super cool.
Yeah.
But the rest of it just seems like another guy movie.
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, it's aimed at dudes.
Yeah, yeah. There's not a lot of like relationships
right,
and holding hands.
Right.
And
Right
I
from
want
the
to be
inner
emotionally
thoughts.
connected.
right from the get-go, you see he's got a dick. It's a dude. Like you're supposed to transport yourself into this hardcore. That's my thing.
Hardcore.
That's my good thing.
I give it a
think
thumbs up for now.
I applaud that. I applaud that tremendously. All right, let's go to Chelsea. You have a bad thing?
My bad thing is Americans making movies about the Middle East.
Okay.
It's a bad thing.
Okay.
Or TV shows for that matter. First of all, we as Americans have a lot of opinions about the people that live in the Middle East. I feel as though anytime an American makes one of those stories, it presents them in a negative way, and I don't think we need any more reasons to
Because
be
they're
seeing-
savages. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
You are the person I am talking about. It just doesn't work.
Ouch. You
It
see what
doesn't
she
work.
just did? She just crossed me.
I just crossed you.
No, I see where you're coming from because it transfers over in not just film and TV, but also in video games for like a lot of Call of Duty games and stuff like that. It's all about
Who
know,
are
a
you
lot of them
shooting?
are shooting in the
Who are
Middle
you shooting?
East. Yeah,
and
you
what
know.
is that teaching our children?
There's that new Owen Wilson movie that's coming out now. He's trying to save his kids. I guess.
No Escape.
No Escape. To me, it's like one of those. Oh no, the brown people are attacking movies again. So
It's Vietnamese, I think.
Vietnamese, brown,
or Cambodian
yellow,
or something.
black. It's just
Yellow.
always you do kind of get fatigued over seeing it. You go to a third world country, everybody there is kind of like the enemy. Let me escape the savages.
Faye and I were supposed to go to a barbecue last night to see one of her friends who's moving to Vietnam. Or is it Vietnam? She's moving to Vietnam, and I'm like, obviously she hasn't seen the trailer for No Escape because there ain't no fucking way I'm going there.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is that people not in the entertainment industry see movies and take them as fact a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I think when you're portraying a certain people a certain way,
I don't think that's the fault of the movies, though. I think that's the fault of our education system not imparting this unbiased critical thinking, if that makes any sense. Because we're not taught in school, look at a product or something and go, okay, let's question this. Let's come at it with skepticism. Let's come at this with skepticism and figure out how factual this is, how much sense it makes to me as a person. None of that is taught in school. And
Right.
so now we put all burden on the filmmakers to go, oh, your movie's too violent. Oh, your game is too violent. You're teaching kids this and that. Your music has too many bad words. It's like, well, where's the parents? Where are the teachers that are instructing them on how to think about this stuff and ingest it? That's my thing on it. Okay, I've said this like a number of times, but American Sniper is a great example. It's about the Middle East, and
I have problems with that movie.
it's a hardcore Republican propaganda film. Like
100,000%.
yeah,
Yes, I agree.
It's hardcore propaganda, but I appreciated that because it's like I don't want to go to a Clint Eastwood film and watch a Democratic movie. He's not a Democrat; he's a Republican. I want to see his perspective. I want to see the Republican propaganda. There's entertainment value in it because I recognize that's not the truth.
But it's still a perspective, and any movie, although this is based on fact, is still portraying everything in a certain way. The last scene at the end with the family in American Sniper with the kids, and he's like, "Oh, son, like let me go." Like, we don't know that scene happened.
No,
like
it
they're
didn't.
portraying it the way they want to portray it.
Right, based on a real real story. We did a show about that. The film was well done. It was a good story.
I will agree.
I might not like the overall sentiment of what it's trying to tell the American people, but I will tip my hat to Clint Eastwood in that he made a good movie.
I don't know how people don't see it's propaganda, though. Like that scene when Bradley Cooper loses like another sniper, another SEAL.
Yeah, and they're in. Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, we're gonna go get these guys. And then like rock music starts playing as the tank is driving through town. I'm like, how do you guys not see that these guys are being portrayed as badasses? Yeah. It's like a joke. It's a big joke.
But people aren't seeing that, and that's the whole point.
I don't think Americans should stop making movies about the Middle East. It's just that we have to change the narrative because they have stories of their own, amazing, brilliant stories that need to be told. They don't get the marketing, the promotion, or the access. Eventually, because as we are becoming a larger global community and we're sharing more and more, we'll have more and more access to it without seeing the biased bullshit ass view of only our Western way of seeing it. So
you can't just kill movies though, because it's also the news, the media. They're pushing this idea that over in the Middle East, you have guys who won't let their women go outside without a burqa on. And if they see something like an ankle, they can set them on fire.
Right. And of course, a lot of these things are factual. There are problems in these countries, and we know that. But I think presenting a whole people as terrorists or,
I agree with that.
It's
troublesome.
Not
it's worrying.
beneficial and is not certainly not helpful for the people who are just trying to work and make a living.
We need a
in
bad
America.
guy. We need a bad guy, and black people need someone to pass the buck to. They've had it for way too long.
Pass that baton.
Yeah, I mean, and then look at the political climate that we're in right now, especially with all the refugees that's been going on. People have this over patrioticness that's been going on, and it's like
Well, what do you mean by that? Over patriotic?
Okay, I love being American. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. However, when I go someplace and I see like an insane amount of American flags and that whole "get her done, America, fuck yeah," I pause. Because you can be over patriotic to the point that you're not allowing yourself to see the rest of the world and allow yourself to realize that they are just as important as you. Just because they're not American doesn't mean that they're any less important. And because of that, we're not allowing ourselves to join the global community, global culture, to share, to allow people to come in, to allow refugees, to allow immigrants. It's not just the U.S. It's happening in France. It's happening in England. It's happening in Greece.
Right.
We're communicating now. We're all in touch with each other. Those old rules and standards have to be broken down.
I work at the International Rescue Committee, so I work in job placement. So when refugees come to the U.S., to Los Angeles specifically, I help them find their first job in the U.S. And what I will say is so many of these people who are coming into this country are doctors, lawyers, that sort of thing in their country. And they come here and they're just trying to get a job at Home Depot, or anywhere, and it's so hard
because they don't have the education, or it's hard because they're Middle Eastern, or because they're minorities. Like what is making it difficult?
All of the above. I mean, the language barrier is a start. A lot of people come here and their English isn't great yet. Okay. So that's not helpful. But just getting your first job in the U.S., it's like getting your first job when you graduate college is very difficult.
Good luck with that.
Getting your first job as a 40-year-old man in the U.S. is definitely difficult.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Are you saying that movies in the Middle East are telling people not to hire these people?
I'm saying it's all one big picture that's affecting everything. It's one big issue, that's affecting everything. And when people are coming to this country and they're already viewed a certain way, they're going to be less likely to be hired.
If you're dominated by all of these images of horrible stereotypes about people that don't look like you, then that's going to pass over into your real world, and you're going to start treating these people as what you've seen on television. So, there is a responsibility of the filmmaker to put some type of real truth to the fiction that they're putting out into the world.
And I like the way you said that. There is a responsibility to a filmmaker to create a story, knowing that not everyone is going to view their story as fiction.
Right. It's just so inconvenient, though. It's like you've only got 2 hours to tell a story. Like you can't have any truth in there.
Tarantino's movie,
Django.
Now imagine every African American film had a Django narrative. You know how pissed off a regular America would be if there was some black superhero that was going around killing a bunch of white folks. People would be like, "Whoa, slow down." But that does happen with people from the Middle East, with Mexicans, with people from Russia during the Cold War and stuff like that. That's the narrative all the time.
Yeah.
So it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I think we still need movies about the Middle East. I think that American Sniper was a good movie. I don't think it's Clint Eastwood's responsibility to go, "Hey, this is fake." It's like these are just pictures moving, and it's all special effects. It's not real. I don't think that's his responsibility. I think that we could do something else. We can make action movies that portray the Middle East in a good way, but no one wants to fund that because it's like Americans
Right.
want to
No one
see
wants to-
movies about Americans being awesome. And that's what American Sniper was serving. That's why it did well.
But when
Based
you
on
start
truth.
making like a kind of true to life narrative,
Yeah.
you do have to have a little bit of responsibility.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know.